Okay. Today, we are gathering here to know about the JRDC. What is it? What we are calling about China, Sri Lanka Joint Research and Demonstration Center for Water Technology. That shortened form is JRDC. And to see that what are the facilities they have and what they are doing and how we are serving to our country, and to get some knowledge of their facilities and the services. And first of all, I'd like to welcome all of you on behalf of the Institute of Engineers Sri Lanka Water Forum, as well as Section C and the General Research Committee of Sri Lanka Association for the Advancement of Science. And this workshop this webinar is organized collaboratively with JRDC, as well as those two institutions, Sri Lanka Association for the Advancement of Science and IESL. And first of all, that I'd like to give you a small introduction of what is China-Sri Lanka Joint Research Demonstration Center for Water Technology, that's JRDC. The China-Sri Lanka Joint Research and Demonstration Center for Water Technology is one of the main outcomes of the China-Sri Lanka Research Grant project received from the government of China to the Ministry of Water Supply of Sri Lanka to cope with CKDU, chronic kidney disease and etiology, and other water-related challenges, and also to strengthen the long relationship between the two countries. And the government of Sri Lanka has received a grant of 1.95 billion and over 600 million worth sophisticated laboratory equipment from the People's Republic of China, and 800 million of contribution from the Ministry of Water Supply and Drainage Board. And all this budget is given to this project to strengthen, and as well as the counterpart budget to strengthen the water testing capacity in Sri Lanka. MOU has been signed in March 2015 between Ministry of Urban Development, Water Supply and Drainage and Chinese Academy of Sciences, CAS, People's Republic of China. This above MOU was expired in 5 years and was freshly renewed again on October 14, 2020 for a period of another 5 years, that is from 2021 to 2025, referring to the provision available. If I'm adding something to that, the operationalization of the JRDC has been commenced on October 1st, 2021. That means just 5 days ago. The prime objective of this laboratory is to support the government ongoing program on water for all by undertaking research and developing water and sanitation technologies. China-Sri Lanka Joint Research and Demonstration Center for Water Technology will help the government of Sri Lanka to solve the water-related environmental and health issues. And we all know that the Sustainable Development Goals of that imposed by the UN, safe water for all. That's one slogan. So with that, I'd like to start our programs today. And first of all, that we have to know that what is this and why we are doing, and also that about the testing for better life. So first of all, that to start our program, I'd like to invite our eminent engineer who has done a lot of work for the the central province as well as all over the country. And he initiated a lot of projects, and he's, I can say, kind of a guru of water supply and drainage board in the central province. And he's one of most of our environmental engineers or that the water supply people in that in the central province. And with his shelter, most of the engineers they have done their work and exploring our engineering area or the arena in a fruitful manner. So I'm really happy to introduce who he is. Let me to read a citation of our eminent engineer. I want to say that eminent engineer, Mrs. Sarat Gamini. Give me small time. Right. Mr. Engineer Sarath Gamini graduated from the Faculty of Engineering, University of Peradeniya in 1981 and obtaining his master's and master's from IHE Delft, Netherlands in 1997. And he conceived a vision on the need of sustainable development in the water sector of Sri Lanka. He started his career from Water Supply and Drainage Department of Colombo Municipal Council in 1981. Then he joined to National Water Supply and Drainage Board in 1982 as a civil engineer. He was working in Matra Group Town Water Supply Project as well as Batticaloa and Ampara as a regional manager until 1987. In 1987, he moved to Kandy and started working in Kandy Direct District Water Supply and Sanitation Project funded by Finland government. He's very much concerned on water supply and planning in Sri Lanka, and he was a pioneer in developing the Kandy District Strategic Water Supply Plan in 1990-1991 under FINIDA. This was followed by contributions to the project master plan of Greater Kandy Water Supply, which started in 1994 under FINIDA project. He championed the Kandy City Wastewater Project, getting the supply of the civil society leaders, government officials, and the academics, winning all stakeholders for the project. His efforts on creating quality and sustainable water infrastructure solutions to the nations are not limited to initiating few activities, but include multiple activities linked to each other, starting from introducing Sri Lanka standards for water fittings. His work for introducing a water infrastructure asset management system for the water industry would benefit future generations. Rather than he concentrated by traditional administrative and financial guidelines, regulations, and rules of organizations, he initiates strategies and open new paths needed to follow to provide sustainable water infrastructure solutions for the nation. Now he's a chief engineer of National Water Supply and Drainage Board and presently working in Kandy North Path Dumbara Integrated Water Supply Project. So Mr. Sarath Gamini, we know that you are the one of the pioneer of initiating these projects. So now the forum is over to you to talk about the water for better life. And this is for the better life. Please.
Right.
Forum is
Thank you very much, Professor Banduni, for your nice introduction. As I have limited time, 10 minutes, I selected a couple of points to be explained and share with you all. So my topic is testing for better life to improve the quality of life of the people of Sri Lanka. Everybody knows that we need various goods and services for day-to-day life. And there are service providers and suppliers, manufacturers, importers, and receiving parties, consumers, citizens of our country, and they are the beneficiaries. They need such goods and services. Then what's our tradition? We pay and get the service, either buy or hire the services. In the market, due to competition, it's exposed to the world market, then a lot of varieties of goods and services are available. The question is that how do we select? The public sector procurement also says value for money. Public sector procurement guideline also says value for money. People generally prefer to get low cost products, plus they need quality as well. More often, sometimes consumer cannot identify the quality. And as Pandri mentioned, I do a lot of work on quality fittings, and regulatory measures are introduced with Sri Lankan standards and plumber license system also. So in water sector, we need to conserve water, and we have introduced this system for the benefit of the people. And as I mentioned again and again, people need quality goods. How do you ensure quality goods? In case of imports and regulatory measures, we do test. A lot of testing to be done in our country. Generally, the products, the manufacturer declare that they are complied with various standards. But it is required to carry out testing to see that whether those products are complied with the prescribed standards. That is for water fittings and other items, electrical, whatever, especially medicine, drugs, etc. So now we have a problem because the manufacturers, they introduce various products, sometimes duplicate as well. So that is why we need to carry out various tests to identify the quality level. In Australia, the National Drainage Board as a national authority entrusted the big responsibility to increase the coverage. Increase the coverage from present level 54% to 678. Now we are producing around 730 NCM, million cubic meters per year. We have to increase by another 700. Imagine we have at the moment 730 and we need to increase 700 in 2025. Where the water resources are, can we use all water resources available? Surface water, ground. As we have a problem in certain part of North Central and western part of Pampara, certain areas, and Kurunegala, we have a seepage. And there's a problem with the quality. And apart from that, major source of water supply, say in Central Province and North Central Province, Mahavali River. We have various quality issues. Various quality issues. Some of the irrigation tanks are polluted with certain level of fertilizer, agrochemicals, and algae blooms on some of the other storage tanks. Those are the major issues. And we have to treat. We have to spend a lot of money for the treatment as well. So we have to identify the quality levels with the time frame and quality variations, especially in case of agrochemicals and heavy metals. Dr. Veeragoda and all other, Professor Rohan and the research team, they are studying on the course of GKDU. There are so many hypotheses. And they study the water quality of source of water supply for various the families who have affected. So in order to carry out these studies, you need a mechanism. You need testing standards. How to do tests? And we have to have another one, pass-fail criteria, whether it is acceptable or not. Certain level is allowed. That is also part of standards, depending on the health guidelines. So important part is we need laboratories with full equipment and competent, skillful employees to carry out such studies. In that sense, recently operationalized JRDC, we call it China Sri Lanka Research Demonstration Center in front of Engineering Faculty and established, and now it is operationalized, already commenced the work. Recently, I also visited and found that there are a lot of facilities, ample facilities to see the quality of the water, and they can do more research. They have already identified, and those research will be available and will be published for the decision makers or continue the other connected research related to water sector issues and quality aspects. So testing, water quality testing is a paramount important. In water sector, there was great need to establish fully equipped laboratory with professional groups. That's already established in the government of Sri Lanka and the Chinese Academy of Science. I'm also fortunate to join this program in 2015, as Banduri mentioned about this MOU, preparation and cabinet approval, etc. And it is now available for all research scientists to carry out their testing works and come out with the solution for the growing bird issues like CKD, heavy metal pollution, agrochemical pollutions, etc. So I am in my conclusion, water testing facilities is a very essential element in for water sector development. Finding additional 700 MCM with quality and treatment systems also to be found. So Water Research Institute, JRDC, will facilitate to address those issues. So I hope Dr. Wayagode, Professor Wei, and Rohan, and other all NWSDB officials, research scientists, and the Faculty of Engineering Peradeniya will take the leadership and provide the required outcome for the people of Sri Lanka. Over to you, Professor Lanka.
Thank you very much, Engineer Salatgawini, one of the eminent fellow engineer in Institute of Engineers Sri Lanka. And thank you very much for your introduction as well as the initiation of this forum. And if I am not going to talk about the University of Peradeniya Faculty of Engineering, then it's really something that I'm missing. So they are the one who have provided to facilitate or to construct this the facility or that this asset to Sri Lanka, and therefore this our facility JRDC is in the Faculty of Engineering and also the side of the Mahabali River. I think most of you have visited or have seen it or the while it's doing the construction, and it's a really nice place. And all these behalf of the University of Peradeniya Faculty of Engineering, and initiated by several eminent professors or the researchers or the engineers of our faculty of engineering, our colleague faculty or that our co-faculty in this country. And now that if I'm going back to JRDC, I'd like to say about what they are doing. You may have some curiosity of what they are doing, having this joint research demonstration center, which belongs to the Ministry of Water Supply as well as to the University of Peradeniya and Chinese Academy of Sciences in China. This is tripartite agreement, as I told you. So let's see that what would be their objectives. First of all, they are trying to identify the possible causing factors to the occurrence and distribution of chronic diseases, that means CKBU in Sri Lanka. And also, they are also to develop groundwater treatment methods and technologies in dry zone Sri Lanka. Thirdly, they are to develop rainwater harvesting and groundwater recharging systems, as well as they are to help the government of Sri Lanka to make an integrated water supply and sanitation infrastructure development plan, an integrated water resource management plan, and a land use plan. So with all those objectives, JRDC now developed and it's available for us. And let's listen to our next eminent presenter, Dr. S.K. Suchitra Weeragoda, and to listen that what he's going to tell about the JRDC and their facilities. So I'd like to invite Professor Shirobi Karnaratne, the professor in civil engineering of Sri Lanka Institute of Information Technology, to read the citation of Dr. Weeragoda. Professor Shirobi, over to you. I'm not sure. Can Professor Shiromi get the host facility? IESL.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, I was not able to unmute myself. I think okay. Thank you very much, Professor Banduni, for the kind introduction. Yes, we have a very eminent speaker as our next speaker, Dr. S.K. Weeragoda. Dr. S.K. Weeragoda has specialized in water and water treatment and currently serving as the project director of China-Sri Lanka Research Grant Project attached to the Ministry of Water Supply, Sri Lanka. Further, he leads the team attached to the Water Supply Safety Plan Advisory Unit in National Water Supply and Drainage Board. In addition, he has recognized as an expert on application on water supply projects and international auditor in the region by the WHO. Dr. Weeragoda has obtained his BSc Honours degree in Civil Engineering in 2001 from University of Peradeniya and ME degree on water and wastewater treatment in 2005 from Asian Institute of Technology. Then he has read his PhD from Saitama University, Japan, and obtained his PhD in 2009, specializing on water treatment. Dr. Weeragoda is a chartered engineer. He has involved in water treatment plant design, construction, and operation during the last 20 years. And he has served as the chief design and process engineer of Greater Damulla Water Treatment Plant of 32 MLD capacity. Further, he has designed several medium-scale water and wastewater treatment facilities around the country. He also serves as a visiting lecturer in many national as well as national universities such as Peradeniya, Rajarata, University of Uwawellassa, and his research collaboration expands over Japan, China, Singapore, South Korea, India, Thailand, United Kingdom, Australia, and many other countries. He has already contributed over 60 research publications for his credit. In addition, he has supervised more than 10 postgraduate students attached to local and foreign universities. The government of People's Republic of China has awarded a grant of 12 million US dollars, a big amount, to the government of Sri Lanka, referring to his request and recognizing his contribution towards water research in Sri Lanka. Further, he himself and as a member of research teams has received several research grants from various agencies to continue his researches on the groundwater pollution and appropriate treatment methods. So without further ado, over to you, Dr. Weeragoda, to share your vast experience. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes, we can
Okay,
hear.
thank you so much, Professor. Yeah, so let me share my screen. Hope that you all can see my screen by now. Yes, so this is very good evening, everyone. And today I'll be talking about shaping the future through research. So this is what the title we assigned for the day, and we are hoping to discuss about the one very important area with the current development in the country and the world. So since we are facing a lot of global challenges, and keeping this all in mind, we got the facility called China Sri Lanka Joint Research and Demonstration Center for Water Technology. In short, we call it as JRDC, which is established under the Ministry of Water Supply with the partnership of University of Peradeniya as well as Chinese Academy of Sciences. So if I just got Chinese Academy of Sciences, they got #1 ranked university in research in world by now, especially in Nature and many other public the journals. So it's really great opportunity for me to work with University of Peradeniya and Chinese Academy of Sciences in bringing up this project. So let me go through the history of the project and what we have achieved by now. So we are having a series of webinars, and thank you very much for having this invitation from the IESL and together with the slides. And today we'll be talking about shaping the future through research. So we had a very productive webinar by University of Pune with the University of Pune experts, and going to be having the next with the University of Uva in another 2 weeks time probably. So this project was started in 2014. So actually I had a chance to visit Chinese Academy of Sciences. They're having almost 50,000, over 50,000 postgraduate students who are having a lot of various, like disciplines, who got a lot of engagement in water and environmental related issues, coming with social, coming with health, and so on. So then we had a delegation in 2014 to visit Sri Lanka. By that time, the Honorable Minister, so led by Mr. Q, the international department head, and Professor Minyan. So Professor Minyan has taken the lead from Chinese Academy of Sciences, and his great support got throughout the way so far to execute this into national and international level. So by 2015, we had a chance to sign the first MOU in between two countries with the witness of the chief presidents of both governments to get the project execution done. So thereafter, then we had the first event under the project in 2017, the laying of foundation ceremony at a very interesting, very nice land given by the University of Peradeniya. So which is we are by the side of the river Mahavali, and this is wonderful area, wonderful sceneries coming all over the way, and a perfect location for putting up a research institute like this. So this MOU is recognized as one of the very successful, very productive MOU signed in last decade, because we had 5 another follow-up MOUs after the first MOU between the Ministry of Water Supply and Chinese Academy of Sciences. So we got an MOU with RCES, that is where that Professor Minyan and Professor Weiss are representing, and NWSTB. So then we got another MOU for health aspects, because we are focusing about the water related health issues. So that is one that CKD also come in as one of those, but there could be a lot of other that we can handle by being together with the Ministry of Health and the Peking Hospital in China. So then we got another MOU between UCAS, that is the university under Chinese Academy of Sciences. So then that between University of Peradeniya. Then we got another, again back a further MOU in between National Science Foundation China and Sri Lanka to fund many researchers. By the first round, we got about 500 million worth grants for both in Sri Lanka and China to execute 4 different research. Then we got another MOU between Ministry of Water Supply and University of Peradeniya. So this is how that the project has been executed. So as I said, so the MOU between Ministry of National Science Foundation Sri Lanka and China got a lot of advantages to get for very interesting research right now, having a lot of really valuable results, and they got a lot of publications as well, and not only publications, we are keen on implementation part. So this was witnessed by the minister by that time, Science and Education, Science Ministry. So then we got another MOU, as I said, in between the Ministry of Health and the Peking hospital, and we had a chance to send our 60 medical experts to China to have training, especially in recognizing, screening the CKD patients at the initial level. So that's also going in very, very successful way. Then in regards of the project execution, the construction of the main objective to putting up this advanced research laboratory, we had the groundbreaking ceremony in 2018, and we were lucky to have one of the leading construction company from China to go with the construction. And right now we got completed this and we are there. So then we have a very interesting another component coming to the project, that's to provide chances for our graduate students to go for their postgraduate studies in Chinese and sciences. Lucky to have more than 40 students who got placement there, and many of them have completed their degrees, PhDs and masters with a lot of credits, and they are back in Sri Lanka to serve the country. So we are doing a lot of research as said initially, and we are we are going with especially the groundwater pollution, going with organic, because organic details are very much minimum right now for this, especially for the CKD. So screening done in that way to support the ongoing research. So together with the University of Peradeniya Faculty of Engineering, we have done the construction, and we got an area of 5,000 square meter with a lot of compartment under this premises, and especially the facility for the laboratory, it's worth more than 600 million rupees excluding taxes. So the equipment we got almost 70, and most of equipment coming from USA, Europe, Japan, China, and they are well commissioned. So by 2020, we recognized the both government. So the project was recognized as one of the successful projects under the One Belt, One Road initiatives by the Chinese government as well as the Sri Lankan government for this research advancements. So then the government decided to extend the MOU for another 5 years, giving 60 million per year for next 5 years by the government of Sri Lanka, as well as almost equal to 150 million worth facilities and services from Chinese Academy of Sciences per year, like for the next 5 years. So altogether, it's going to be about 1 billion over facilities that we are going to have here. So we got the commissioning done during the COVID period with the minimum staff, and our staff being trained with a lot of confidence, and they are well trained now to handle this or to operate this 60 plus equipment. And that is the cream of the institute. And we got another facility, mobile facility, to address this emergency. Especially Sri Lanka is being recognized as one of the countries in the world for this climate change impact. So we'll be having a lot of opportunities for us to use these facilities, definitely. Not opportunities, but to support the government, of course, I would tell. So in addition to that, we were keen on developing technology, especially for the groundwater treatment. And by last decade onward, we were struggling with groundwater treatment with many technologies, and we got ourselves stuck with RO, reverse osmosis, where we have a lot of reject water, 50% around. But with under the project research, the implementation and piloting, we could increase the recovery from 50 to 70 and maybe like 80. So that's getting a lot of relief in this water treatment, especially the managing the reject water. So as Professor Manduni said, so we have operationalized our facility on 1st of October with the participation from the dignitaries from many institutes, and we are there to put up our e-newsletter in every month, and I'll be able to share with this all in different media like our social media, our Facebook page, Twitter, and many other, as well as our website is under the construction. In soon we'll be able to get you the information through the website www.jrdc.lk. So again back, then JRDC, I would like to invite everyone here. Thank you for being with us, and I will be very happy to have you all at JRDC facility because it's a wonderful place located in the University of Peradeniya. I think you all know that University of Peradeniya has been recognized as one of the most beautiful universities, one of the 10 most beautiful universities in the world. So we are so lucky to have our premises there. So we are at the nearby engineering faculty, in front of engineering faculty, other side of the road coming from Peradeniya to Gampala, and closer to this is engineering faculty. This is the Mahabel River. So you know that the Akbar bridge, if you know Akbar, which is over there. So we are there at the premises, one very prominent, interesting location. So JRDC having 4 compartments, basically it's the shape of Y English letter. So this compartment in that part arm, we are getting the research activity building. That is what we find here. So I'm right now sitting over there at the administration block, which is there at the director's room. So we got the auditorium, we got lecturing facilities, and this is the other part of the Y, where that we have the expert apartment, and the leg of the Y is getting with the pilot testing. So if you just had a look into the Faculty of Engineering University of Perak, then they're going to have a very big hydraulic laboratory, same like that. We got 1,000 square meter piloting area for putting up new technologies. The idea here is to bring up your problem, to research, to develop technologies, to talk with experts, getting from our facility as well as from University of Perak. This is located in University of Perak. That because not because of only the environment, but as well. No, I mean keeping the main concentration towards the expertise having in University of Perak. This is the only university having 9 different faculties at a single premises, come in with engineer faculty, medical faculty, science faculty, agriculture faculty, so all social department and all, so that they all can come and work with us, not only the local experts but the foreign experts as well, Chinese and sciences, many other partners from Australia and Japan and Singapore and many other countries, Europe and USA even. So these all are connected through this administration block. So the technologies, the problems we are getting here in the JRDC will be converted into solutions in this area, and we'll be coming up with the final application component. That is the main target. So that would help us to go with these facilities. As I said, so we got the conference facility with a lot of latest technologies, which is located at the bottom part of this administration building. And we got the discussion rooms and the conference room and office space. And of course, this type of facility should have to have a separate component for apartment. So we got 12 rooms to accommodate at a time, almost about 22 researchers, and we can run our training programs with at this beautiful environment using our the auditorium and our conference facilities. Not only that, we got a cafeteria, and soon we'll be having one of the A-grade food services providers at this premises to serve you and have this enjoy this environment while doing research. So we got the special VIP facilities as well. Then the pilot area, as I said, so this is given for especially for the technology development. We got a lot of office space as well there. So we can bring up this pilot facilities, and we are in the process of putting up a lot of test benches and a lot of testing the manufacturing lines here to go with a lot of new developments. So the center JRDC is mainly focusing towards the research, towards the testing, towards the analysis. Probably this would be the one house facility in the South Asia region to go with environmental related research. That's for water, that's for soil, that's for air, as well as that's for medical, that's for food. A lot of demands, a lot of requests coming around the country right now with the recent developments in the country for organic farming and all. So this is where that we can bring up this all testing. So we got general laboratory, we got volatile organic laboratory, we got non-volatile organic laboratory, we got inorganic laboratory, we got particulate matter laboratory, we got microbiology, molecular microbiology laboratory. So these are the main areas. So let me take you all in with this testing. And as I said, so the first laboratory, volatile and non-volatile organic laboratory. So you might be having a lot of experiences with this equipment because we had a lot of discussions, dialogues around the country for different reasons. And here the gas chromatography GC. So there are a couple of GCs with different detectors, and they are having a really high precision for you to go and test various compounds. So we got gas chromatography with mass spectrometer, sniffer monitor. This is interesting because we all having sensing capacity, sensing feeling, so we can use our nose to recognize especially these perfumes and all in the manufacturing process. So that is the final justification. So and then we got LC HPLC, which is again back coming from USA. So then this is for pesticides, especially for the agrochemicals. And we got a LCMS that for dedicated for the non-volatile organic. So basically we can go for a lot of organic compounds volatile as well as non-volatile. So we got standards by now coming from Europe with the European standards, and we can use them all, and we can go for various testing. So our team is prepared to go with this testing right now. And in addition to that, we have basic facilities like CHN analyzers and TOC, and especially this TOC coming with different technology. It's really handy equipment. And when you come into the inorganic laboratory, so if you are one who's working in water environment, you might be very much knowing about the ICP-MS. That's for the heavy metal trace elements and the rare earth material elements, so that we can go for all the inorganic, especially the cations. So we got specially dedicated equipment, AFS, that's for mercury and arsenic. So you might not be struggling with this, because I know that the researchers in Sri Lanka somewhere that they are struggling to measure this couple of special elements. So we got a facility in our premises. So moving to some other equipment like ion chromatography, ICs for anions, and UVVC is one that's very common equipment for the basic testing, especially dedicated for anions. Then we have something especially for water treatment, water designers to come and work with some other manufacturers, especially for the chemical industry. So potentiometer, BT analyzer. So these are additional equipment got placed in our premises. So that even we can go for the chemical industry or many other industries. So in addition to that, we are lucky to have a molecular biology laboratory coupled with the expertise coming from the Ministry of Health. So we are having RT-PCR. So that is temporary given to Narayanpeta Hospital for battling against the COVID issue, and soon back once after the controlling the issue, we'll be having this RT-PCR with us. So in addition to that, we have many other equipment, so gel imaging system, gene amplification system, and so on. So these are to go with the microbiological wastewater investigations, water investigations. So this is so important, because in another 2-3 decades time, we'll be struggling with antibiotic residue bacteria, because heavy use of these antibiotics might be getting a lot of challenges. So a water laboratory should have to have a facility like this. So in addition to that, if you ask me, I'll be very happy to share this portable water quality comprehensive toxicity meter. So if you are having a challenge of testing to certify whether your water is being toxified by someone, so you might be using this particular equipment, might not be available in many other locations. And as I said, this PCR will be back soon for us to go for detailed investigation in microbiology, detailed investigation in water. So we have general laboratory. So where that we got a lot of online testing equipment. In addition to the advanced equipment, they are coming with a lot of additional features. So this might be very good for you to go with testing, and especially field equipment like engineers like myself, who are working in water, who are working in environment, who are working in irrigation, who are working in Mahavalley, and even not beyond that, many other disciplines coming in engineering and science. We can use this portable equipment, and they are available at the premises. So we got, as I said, the mobile facility, probably the only facility in this capacity in this country, especially to address your emergencies. So Sri Lanka was ranked as second mostly affected country by climate change in 2018 and sixth most in 2019. So probably we can use this facility to get test samples, to collect sample, to preserve sample, bring back into our central laboratory. And JRDC is located in the central of the country. So the one of the opportunity that we can approach any part of the country soon within 3-4 hours time. So as I said, so we got a lot of other testing facilities in our premises, and these all are available for all the researchers in the country. So the beauty of this JRDC is to bring up this global partnership for research, North-South, South-South dialogues. And I would like to invite all the researchers around the country, all the practitioners around the country to come and use our facilities. Our staff is ready to help you. If you can't manage your testing, we will be helping you. If you can manage your testing by your own, we are ready to allow yourself to come and use this facility. And this all facilities will be available in our website, www.jrdc.lk. You can reserve your accommodation, you can reserve your laboratories, you can reserve your auditoriums, you can ask chemicals, you can ask facilities. These all are available. So we want to make very friendly environment and 24-hour operation throughout the way of the calendar year. So that is what we want to make it happen in JRD's premises, and it will be a very friendly environment for all partners in Sri Lanka and foreign partners also to come and work with us. This is the ambition of the government. That is the ambition of the Ministry of Water Supply, Honorable Minister and the Secretary to the Ministry, and the Vice Chancellor and the General Manager of National Water Supply Engineering Board, Vice Chancellor of University of Peradeniya. Keeping that hope in mind, keeping that hope in meeting you all at this facility. I'll be stopping by this time with my note. So please visit us. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Veeragoda, Sister Veeragoda. Thank you very much for your excellent presentation on regarding the facility available at the JRDC. So as you all heard that there are a lot, and actually that's unimaginable because it's really amazing facility what I have experienced. And all of you, if you have any questions, and we are giving the chance you all to raise your hands and you can ask questions regarding the any queries, what Dr. Veeragoda has explained to you in what is happening, what's in the JRDC. So therefore that, thank you so much once again, Dr. Veeragoda, for giving all this explanation, all these details of JRDC. And I'm sure that our participants, they know that from where to contact and what to do. Now, moving our webinar for our to our next presenter. Actually, we know that facilities are there, but we all think that it's only for water environment. Okay, that water has a lot of things, and we know that water is having a problem in future because we know that water is not going to get clean, and with the climate change and all these problems, always water is something that deteriorating day by day. Not with that itself, but with the humans' anthropogenic activities. So therefore that this is the thing, and to talk about not only water, not beyond the water environments, I'd like to cordially invite our eminent researcher, research professor in the National Institute of Fundamental Studies, and also that he's at the research professor in NIF, as I told you earlier, as well as distinguished professor, Hefei University of Technology, China, and also a guest professor, University of Erlangen, Germany, and also professor in soil chemistry of University of Peradeniya in Sri Lanka. So Professor Rohan Weerasurya, now the forum is over to you, sir. Please explain us that the extent JRDC facilities beyond water environment. Thank you.
Thank you. My slides are visible to you. I think it's okay.
No, sir. Yeah, wait a minute.
It is not. 1 minute. It has to be shared. Yeah, 1 minute. Yeah, now it's okay, I think.
Yes, it's visible.
Okay. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Good evening. And thank you for the invitation. I think my presentation is drafted beyond extending the services of the JRDC to other environment. I thought of having this discussion, putting 1 or 2 slides about the past situation in 2015 by Dr. Veeragoda's team, then how this came up, then we will discuss how the facilities are extending beyond water. Yeah, this is very interesting slide, I think, put by our team in 2015, just 1 day before the independence of Sri Lanka. And they say science and technology cannot be applied for development a very famous saying by Pandit Nehru, India, and he says, science and technology are indeed an integral part of development. So this is very, very important saying. And this is one of the meetings Dr. Veragoda's team put this idea to Chinese colleagues while we are having this meeting in Beijing. One day before the National Day of Sri Lanka, now it is the National Day of China, the center facility was inaugurated. So one more slide from the same discussion in 2015, they put forward to the Chinese delegates the problems in Sri Lanka. Even these problems are not resolved yet. So we do not have a central facility at that time for water quality monitoring and research. All people are doing research on water quality and monitoring, but this research can be stopped anytime. And I would say because the responsible authority for this water monitoring work is the National Water Supply and Drainage Board, but these scientists, these analysts did not have this facility as we are witnessing today. And the other important point here is the accredited laboratories and the research laboratories, there's a conflict all the time because the accredited laboratories generally follow very strict measurement steps, whereas the research laboratories, like in the universities, they constantly change the methods. So the results that we are getting as a result of these measurements are a bit problematic because it cannot be used for the national issues. And at the other end is the service laboratories in Sri Lanka are not that affordable. So the result is even today, we do not have ambient water quality data for any type of waters. For example, drinking water, whatever waters, we do not have this facility, these values. Without that, how can we recommend our water quality standards? That is a gray area. So these problems were put forward in 2015 by my colleagues' team. And in addition to that, because we depend on the certified samples received from abroad, we do not have our intrinsic water samples, certified samples. The other problem which we are facing even today is the dreaded problem of equipment maintenance. And it is very costly, and we are very afraid of this situation. And one of the very important point here is in our country, academia, state, and the industry sectors are working in three ivory towers. They do not discuss each other. They do not impact each other. So these problems were put, and the leapfrog solution came from our colleagues in China. We respect for their dedication for that. The birth of JRDC. As my colleague explained, we do have all the problems addressed, and it is in operation from 1st of October. That is the National Day of China. That is a remarkable coincidence. So we have these facilities specifically geared to solve the problem. So there's one more important point here. At the JRDC, because we were criticized for doing research and not contributing to the nation. But at the JRDC, the problem identifiers are the National Water and Supply Board, Ministry of water supply, water resources board like that. And they are putting the expertise, the research problem to the experts that is led by the University of Perak that year for a solution. So that is very remarkable model. And I think because we have to thank to our Chinese colleagues for putting all these ideas to develop us. So this is, again, I learned from China when we were having all the discussions, the correlation is 2 + 2 should be greater than 4. So we strictly follow this. I think this is very good norm for the collaboration. And I am not discussing the research part because it is being done, but I just wanted to put our eye opens to the other sectors like the state and private sectors, because now the state and the private sectors are joined hand together. Okay, so in this presentation, I am very much concentrated to the monitoring facility rather than the research facility. So, and we tried because we have several well advanced equipment, and the bottleneck here is the maintenance and everything. So with the collaboration and the expertise by Chinese scientists, we thought of having manufacturer training hub for advanced equipment in water analysis at JRDC. So in that way, the manufacturer, because this is doable thanks to our Chinese experts, this is doable in that way because we are part of with the manufacturers. So the 2 + 2 is greater than 4. Under that concept, when the manufacturer is design a new equipment or new version, it is given free of charge to the training hub of their industry. So that is the idea. For the moment, this was led by the India. In other words, the Indians are coming to train us all the time. It is a bit awkward because our literacy rates are very high and we have very good education. In spite of that, still we depend on this. So we have to think very objectively. The other important point here is we are discussing the monitoring part only. So we thought of having this facility with the Accreditation Board of Sri Lanka, which is very good organization up to the international standards, and their trainers, the trainees will go hand in hand with the facility. So in that way, data quality is assured. The other burning issue that we have in Sri Lanka is to get a particular chemical load too from abroad, we have to wait 6 months and we have to pay almost 10 times the actual cost. So we thought of having manufacturer credit system to JRDC because indeed the credit card systems are not issued in our country for institutes, but the manufacturer credits are given for the institute at the same as the credit card. In that way, we shortcut the timing and we can get all the chemicals, urgent chemicals, as we are in Europe or other countries. So once these collaborations, these imaginations are coming into the true situation, I am sure that the JRDC will evolve as a center of excellence in water research, giving very nice lessons for other institutes as well. And I am sure the JRDC services may in future required for the development of the country. It is not an isolated ivory tower research institute. So if this is happened after 5 years' time, our country is very small, sometimes smaller than the state of America. Okay, so we have limited resources. We have to extend these services to the other fields as well. So we thought of that also. So for this situation, we categorize the facility we do have into two. Category one, we say general facility, the cost is like this. For example, I am getting particle size analyzer that you must have seen now, and it is meant for the water industry for the replacement of JRDC, the modern technique. But in addition, the petroleum industry, the drug delivery, cosmetics, paint industry, and polymer industry is waiting for this data. So this facility can, without any cost, can be extended for this fields as well. So the high-end facility I define as the equipment greater than 30 million Sri Lankan rupees. After 5 years period, though we have hopefully the ISO accreditation to the JRDC, and we are very capable of analyzing water, wastewater, including rainwater, seawater, and the electronic wastewater, what type of water, and even the waste sludge and the microbial analysis. We are dreaming for that. So now National Water Supply and Drainage Board has a very remarkable network of laboratories, over 16 laboratories throughout the country, and more than that at a small level. So they are linking with JRDC for the analysis. So we are very good in ultra trace analysis, organic pollutant analysis, particulate matter analysis. And our equipment maintenance program is progressing very well. Even the other laboratories in the country are requesting our equipment maintenance services for them. So this is doable because we are sitting in front of the Faculty of Engineering, University of Peradeniya, the place where they produced engineers for the whole country, which includes the electronic maintenance. So why can't we do this in our own premises? So we discussed this matter with the Faculty of Engineering. The problems in the equipment maintenance are too simple for them. So we thought of having a dedicated program only for the equipment maintenance with the manufacturers of the equipment. That is very important to get the association with the manufacturers. Manufacturers always welcome the expertise idea. Otherwise, the equipment cannot be developed at that. That is a good example we are getting from China. So our system is now well operating. Now, at this point, now we are thinking after the water sector is fulfilled the needs, we can extend this is very easily for other sectors. Initially, because we have critical mass with us. For example, these high-end equipments are with us. So these equipment are common, whether we are in agriculture, medical, material science, whatever field, when we are analyzing the elements or organic compounds like that. But the JRDC is geared for the microbial and the chemical analysis. The sample preparation is the critical point. So we'll propose an JRDC sample preparation unit. And the other thing is reference samples for these other fields that we can arrange, and only the measurement, the cost factor, we can optimize with the other laboratories, other scientists in the field. And I feel that this is very important to have an affordable system for a country like Sri Lanka. So I asked my colleague in China, within 20 years' time, China developed so rapidly. I asked what is the secret for that from my colleagues in China? They gave me very nice statement. Third world does not mean third class. And that is JRDC, and thank you.
Professor Rohan Surya, thank you so much for your excellent presentation and which was really informative and also that encouraging all of the researchers, most of the researchers and engineers, so whoever the people in the different field, that I'm very much sure that they are very fascinated by the speech what you have given, because this is for us, this is our facility. If I'm talking about myself, I think that I was dreaming for such a facility for a long, long time. And when we have a collaborative research with other universities or other country people, so we didn't have such a nice place that they can come and work. So this is what. And also that this is not only the water technology, and this is for all of us, for any other fields who are doing the sampling and the analysis with the sophisticated instruments. We know that we don't have such a facility, and also for kind of a low cost. And the cost also bared by the government as well as the JRDC, not fully, but partly. And therefore that I think the researchers like us, even for our, not only the researchers, our students, our postgraduate, as well as our undergraduate students, and also the engineers or whatever the facility who are doing, or any ministry or any research center, this is that we are that JRDC with us. And now it's the high time that you can visit and you can see that the facilities, and you can start your research with some grant, and the JRDC is there to help. So let's see that JRDC is not only the helping, but they are also giving some grants, research grants. So let's have a look at that, who are going to do these grants and who are going to help us, and what are how we can apply, and that is the beyond our borders, means beyond the Sri Lankan borders. So our joint hand is China, so specifically the Chinese Academy of Sciences. Now my invitation is for Professor Yuan Songwei, that who initiated all the things from the beginning, who were with us, who are with us. Now he's joining with us from China. Professor Wei, that I know that you are the one who initiated this, the grant, in the NSF grant with Sri Lanka and China collaborative research grant. And by initiating that, you all have given maybe really a lot of money to us to specifically concentrating on the CKDU. And with all those things, let's listen to Professor Wei, who is from China, joining with us today to this forum. Professor Wei, regarding your citation, that I'd like to invite Professor Shiromi Karnaratne to read about you, that who you are. Thank you.
Thank you very much. It's a great honor for me to introduce Professor Yuan Song Wei. Professor Wei, the Director of Laboratory of Water Pollution Control Technology, Research Center for Eco-Environmental Sciences, Chinese Academy of Sciences, China. Deputy Director of CAS-TWAS Center of Excellence for Water and Environment. He is a professor at the University of Chinese Academy of Sciences and adjunct professor at National Institute of Fundamental Studies, Sri Lanka. He was awarded the PhD in Environmental Engineering from RCEES CAS in July 2000. He worked as a postdoctoral fellow in TNO Environment, Energy and Process Innovation, the Netherlands, from March 2001 to March 2002. And he is also a visiting scholar in Swiss Federal Institute of Aquatic Science and Technology from 2008 to 2009. His research areas focusing on water and wastewater, organic solid waste treatment and resource recovery, river restoration, and antibiotics resistant pollution and control in the environment. He has published over 300 papers in peer-reviewed journals and include over 150 papers in scientific citation index journals, over 20 authorized patents. And he has been working as a PI over 30 projects funded by National High Technology Research and Development Program in China. Right. He has been awarded by the second prize of State Scientific and Technological Progress Award in China in 2018. Since 2014 till now, Professor Wei visited Sri Lanka 26 times for promoting cooperation of science, technology, and education between China and Sri Lanka, especially focusing on CKDU courses, studies, and safe drinking water supply. With his supervision, 10 Sri Lankan students, including 6 PhDs, are awarded scholarships studying in the CAs, and 5 students are awarded their master's and PhD degrees, including 4 PhDs. So he has a lot of merits to his credit. And without much further ado, over to you, Professor Wei, to enlighten us on this topic. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you, Ayubo. Thank you all the distinguished professors and Mr. Saragami, Dr. Valgoda, Professor Salami, and Professor Bundy. So, okay, so it's my great pleasure to share our experience with the Sri Lanka cooperation. I will share my slide. So, wait a minute. So, wait a minute. Yeah. So, okay, can you all see this slide? Yeah, can you see this?
Yes, yes, we can.
Yes,
we can see.
yes. Thank you so much. So, and tonight I'm really happy. So, many thanks you all for your invitation. So, I will brief introduce our cooperation, especially funding and scholarship opportunities from China through the JRDC. So I will, according to these 4 parts, to introduce our experience. So, as mentioned by Dr. Valgoda, so our cooperation, there are several milestones. The first one is the milestone, is the national level agreement between China and Sri Lanka. So in 2014 September, there was signed, the MOU was signed between the Ministry of Higher Education and CAS. This is the many by the Lufna University and the Institute of Oceanology, South China Sea. Okay, this one, and another one in 2015. So this is the MOU was signed in March 2015. So with the witness of both presidents. So this is a MOU was signed between the Ministry of Supply and the CAS. So this MOU is the first MOU for the JRDC, I think. So and also after that in 2016, so our cooperation was listed in the joint statement between China and Sri Lanka government. This is our cooperation was upgraded to the country to country, government to government. I think that is great, very, very great. So this is our the cornerstone for our the cooperation. So so I will briefly introduce you all. There was an overseas the Institute for the Cooperation, that is the China Sri Lanka Joint Center for Education and Research. So this is affiliated of the General Academy of Science. There are four parts. One is the marine environment and climate effect. This part is hosted by University Lufna and the South China Sea Institute of Oceanology from CAS. And the second is the water environment and water safety plan water supply safety. This part is hosted by the Ministry of Supply and the University of Pennsylvania and Genetic Academy Science. So, and also there are other one is underwater archaeology. So there is also cooperation with the Ministry of the higher education from Sri Lanka. So, and others for the personal training and education. So they are from the University of Genetic Academy Science. All for this part of cooperation, especially for the education. So all of education cooperation is carried out in the University of Genetic Academy Sciences. Okay, so for this part, for the water environment and the water supply safety, that is for the JRDC the support. So that is, I told you, this is a brief framework. So, and just mentioned before by Dr. Vargoda, in the past, so Chinese academic science provide financial support for our cooperation. For example, for this JRDC. So, and later I will show you all the financial support from China side. Okay, so now we can move on our the cooperation of the JRDC. So according to the MOU between Ministry of Supply and Genetic Academic Sciences, so there's the key cooperation forms. Our target is for the CKD course studies and safe drinking water supply. So for this, there are several key operation forms. I think the most important is the JRDC. It is the JRDC, and so this JRDC. So I'm also really happy to tell you all that is very good. So last year, the JRDC was awarded the best project in 2020 in Sri Lanka. So this is really happy. So you know more details about this. So this is very beautiful. I think this moment is the leading the institute in water and science and technology in Sri Lanka. And I also brief introduce for the education cooperation. So this moment there are about more than 50 Sri Lanka students studying in Chinese Academy of Science in the University of Chinese Academy of Science, and for this there are from 2015 till now, there are more than 30 Sri Lankan students studying in the class related to the water and the environment, including 14 PhD students. And also that is the number is not okay. And also there are 4 Pi-Fi fellowships. So, and from this, most of are from the University of Pennsylvania. So I think just like you mentioned, so in the next 5 years, we would like to extend our cooperation with other Sri Lanka universities and other Sri Lanka research institutes. So JRDC is just a start. So we would like to expand our cooperation with other Sri Lanka partners. So, okay, so this is a Pi-Fi fellowship program. So that is this is very good. There are different kinds of Pi-Fi fellowship. This is for the scientists. So in this year, 2021, there are 2 Pi-Fi fellowship awarded. The Professor Lohana and Dr. Mala, and this year, the next year, so Professor Pala and Professor Shami are awarded. So we are really happy. So you know, for this Pi-Fi fellowship, the application, the competition is very tough. So this year, so in 2 years, we are really happy. So this is 4 famous professors are awarded. This is Pi-Fi fellowship. And also, so for education, so you are Sri Lanka news media also report for this, just also mentioned before by Dr. Valgoda. Okay, so I think in the past, so our experience, so what we can find the cooperation, how to find, so I think as we know, SDG can provide a chance and a viewpoint for our future cooperation. As we know, for water, environment, and health, that is the SDG 3 and SDG 6 is the most important for us. The SDG 6, clean water and sanitation, and also SDG 17. There's partnerships for achieving these SDG goals. So for the goal 17, there are something like that. So you know, so this is very clear. So SDG can only be realized with strong global partnerships and cooperation. I think that is very, very clear. So, and since 2013, Dr. Valgoda sent me the first email related to the CKDU. Since then, so we step by step to promote our cooperation. So we really realize that is the cooperation is very, very important for our future to achieve the SDG. So okay, and I think for this is cooperation, the capacity building is maybe is one of the most important targets. Yeah, that is for the capacity building, including two aspects. One aspect for the platform, like this is the JRDC, this is laboratory. So because we know for the lots of countries, developing countries, the shortage of research facility is a key issue. And the other one for the capacity building is the human resource. So I think that education is a good way to improve the human capacity building. So that is we do this for this one. But how to can start our cooperation? So as we know, I think in the world, in China, it's the same. So we need prepare the proposal. So for a successful proposal, I think there are three key parts. The first one is the issue, the key issue, especially for the cooperation, the for the cooperation. This key issue should be your country or our country or our common interest. This is very, very important because without this key issue, the committee, they don't pay any attention to this. So for this issue, it will be from the science or technology or both science and technology. And the second, so for if we find the key issue, then we need to find to who is your partner. Who is your partner? I think so. Is for young talent or young scientists in the developing countries. So if you want to get the financial support, so partner, it is the most important. So that is so for the joint research project, the professor host institution, and that is one for the young talents. If they want to get the scholarship, the supervisor is very important. And then based on this, so we find the key issue, we find the key partner, and then how to get the money. So without the financial support, we cannot carry out the research. We cannot do the fellowship. So how to get the finance? Yeah. So then we need to searching for different programs. For example, there are different programs like the research programs and scholarship or fellowship. So I think, so for the scientists, if they want to build up the cooperation in joint research, maybe the fellowship is a good way. For the young talents, so the scholarship for education is a good way. So that is my experience, and so I will briefly introduce you all for the key programs for international research in China. Generally, there are 5. One is from the Ministry of Science and Technology. One is from the National Science Foundation of China. This generally is for the joint research. They don't award the scholarship. And the other three for the fellowship or scholarship, like the Genetic Scholarship Council and the UNSO and the University of Genetic Academic Sciences. And then I will briefly introduce you all. So for the young talents, if they want to study in China, especially in genetic academic science, they can search for information in these 3 parts: CSC, UNSO, and UCAS. And for the young scientists, if you want to build the joint research project, so you can find MOST and the National Science Foundation. And also for the young scientists, if they also, maybe they can use the fellowship, like the Pi-5 fellowship, they can use the UNSO. This is the UNSO. It's very important, especially to set up the cooperation in genetic academic science. Okay, so I brief introduce the genetic academic science. So genetic academic science is different from the research institute or universities. That is an integrated system for education and research. So, and genetic academic science has more than 100 research institutes distributed in China. And so our institute, RCES, is one of this is the research institute in environment and ecology. Okay, and also genetic academic science there has 3 universities. One is University of UCAS, UCAS. This is located in Beijing, and the second is University of Science and Technology of China. This is located in Hefei, Anhui province. And Professor Luo Han has a cooperation with Professor Chen Xin in Hefei. They are the same in the same city. And the third university is Shanghai University of Science and Technology in Shanghai. So there are 3 universities. Of this university, you can select. So you can, for young scientists, you can get the scholarship starting there. And also for our genetic academic science, there the research and education is integrated. How to integrate together? There's 2 stages, and in the first stage, generally for the master students and PhD, they will start in University of Genetic and Science for 1 year. This is the focus on the core study for degree, including the general course and also the major course, something like that. After this 1 year, they will move to the research institute to carry out the research, generally based on the different research program. For example, they will carry out their master and the PhD degree. And also, this is for the master generally there will be 3 years, and for PhD roughly 3 to 6 years. So based on your research products. So this is I briefly introduce education and research system of genetic academic science. Okay, so and for I just mentioned there's 5 key programs for international research cooperating in China. One is the Ministry of Science and Technology. Each year, most calls for application of international cooperation program. So including the developed countries like America, European, Japan, and developing countries. So the cutting out period is 3 years. So each year, we keep eye on this. And the second is the National Science Foundation of China. So for the most, the program they focus on the technology and the joint laboratory. And for the National Science Foundation, this program focuses on the for the science research, science research. Sometimes pure science, applied science. So and for this one, there are also several different kinds of research. So for example, this is also research fund for international scientists call for proposal in 2021. There are 3 types, 1, 2, 3. There are different year, 2 or 3 years, and their funding is also different. So they are roughly for the 1, 2, 3 type research, they are roughly about 200,000, 400,000, and 8,000, 800,000 RMB per year. So that is very good, but there's eligibility is applicant doctoral degree obtained within the past 6 years. So that is for the scientists, not for the young talent. Okay, okay. So we also keep eye on for this one, and also for this one, this for the young talent is very good because this program provide financial support for international students to start in China, including the genetic science and also the university in China. So and each year they will call for applications. The application deadline is on March 31. So there are also monthly stipend is different. For PhD and the master, the money is different. Okay, okay, for example. And also this is for the UNSO scholarship. UNSO scholarship is from the genetic academic science. This is this UNSO is a name of the Alliance of International Science Organization. So this is very, very important because their finance support is a little higher than the CSC scholarship. So the deadline of application is the same on March 31. So for example, for the month stipend is roughly 7,000 RMB per month. For master, roughly 3,000 or 4,000, something like that. And other for the young talents studying in CAS, it is the UCAS scholarship. Okay, the application deadline is the same on March 31. And the month stipend is roughly for doctoral students, 3,500. And for master, 3,000. But generally, we will based on this view, and also group will provide some financial support for this. And also this is China aid program. That is the government to government aid program. The JRDC is get the grant from this is the China aid program. So that is a little bit a big challenge to get because it's not so easy. Why? Generally, if our cooperation, for example, the MOU was sent with the witness by both presidents, then it's possible for us to apply for this China aid program. So we are very lucky. So in 2015, so and our MOU, first MOU was signed with the witness of both presidents in 2015 March. After that, so both sides to prepare according to your side the idea for the laboratory, just like Professor Lohan mentioned, and Mr. Saragami and Dr. Valgata mentioned. So the facility shortage is a very key serious challenge in Sri Lanka. So we based on this, so both sides prepared the proposal, and for the Chinese version, I prepare to submit to our genetic science headquarters, and after evaluation, then submit to the Ministry of Commerce of China. So we are very lucky. So we get it very good. So and so I just mentioned there are different programs for the joint research and fellowship for young talent study in China. And generally, so for your young scientists and your young students, talents, if you want to set up the joint research or linkage with the China, I think the proposal is the most important. So for this proposal, we should think about these 4 key questions. Why? So that means we should have the key issue and also the manage important for the manage and the importance of the project. I will mention as an example of our JRDC, and then what are the research objectives and contents. This is what. So what do we want to do? So for our JRDC, our purpose are very clear. Focus on 2 key targets: CKD co-studies and safe drinking water supply in the CKD effect area. And then how to deal with this? How to achieve this project objectives? So we need different cooperation forms. That's we prepare the 8 cooperation forms in our first MOU, and among these is the most important. This is the JRDC. Okay, so that is one. And so and then of this your project and who is your partner. This is the who. It is the most important, I think. So that is, and for this proposal, generally they need 2 versions. One is the Chinese version, one is the English version, and the most important is the Chinese version, because our government will evaluate this proposal. Okay, so I will brief how to prepare such. This is cooperation. For example, our JRDC. So I'm really happy. So Dr. Valgata sent me an email in 2013 August. In his email, he mentioned the CKDU, and because at that moment the WHO released a report about the CKDU study, and in this report, it mentioned the water is the key issue. So and also that is why Dr. Valgata want to build up a cooperation with us. He sent me the first email, so I'm very happy to that. Then we have lots of discussion. So CKDU, you know, all of it is very clear, so I don't want to repeat it again. And based on this, so what is the research challenge? So for this one, so the CKDU course is a big challenge, not only in practice, but also in science. So for example, what is the course? Till now, there's still no very clear course can explain this CKDU. So then we think about we can do it in 2 ways. One way to try to find the root cause of CKDU. This will take a long time. And other way, we can improve the water supply in practice by the technology development. So then we use this idea to prepare. This is a proposal. Okay. So based on this, so we use this research purpose and then make the technical roadmap. So we should find the problem of the CKD course, especially related to the water in the CKD affected area. So we want to know the water quality, water quantity, and water supply, the challenge. So based on this, as we know, if we want to make clear water quality, and so we need to do the analysis. But you know, international cooperation is not so easy to send the samples from Sri Lanka to China. So we need a facility to do this analysis in the local. So especially for the some biological samples for the CKD course studies, we need the biological samples like the blood and the tissue and something like that. So it is impossible to send such biological samples to China because the custom, they have some regulations on this. So that's why we want to to say, so we need to set up a JRDC in Sri Lanka, because this JRDC facility can do such analysis. Okay, and then based on this, for the cost for the water supply technologies, what we can do. So we need to develop some suitable and cost-effective technology for Sri Lanka. So then based on this research, we can do the demonstration in Sri Lanka. This is okay or not okay? If this is okay, so then we can split this technology to provide safe drinking water supply and to provide technical support for water for all in Sri Lanka. That is our idea. So so based on this idea, but not now, this is the summarization. But in the beginning, we also don't know this, but we know this is the two key targets is very important. We need to get the financial support. How to do this? First, we get the financial support from the CAS. This is our starting the financial support in 2014. The CAS support me about 200,000 RMB in 2014, and then step by step increasing the financial support. And in the next 5 years, CAS will provide 5 million RMB per year, 5 million RMB per year to provide technical support, genetic scientists to do research, cooperation research between China and Sri Lanka, and also the journal research, and also some education, exchanging, something like that. And based on this is the CAS, the financial support, we prepare the proposal to apply for China aid. And we know in our first MOU, the JRDC is the one of the key forms of cooperation. So but for this building, so CAS cannot financial support. We need the financial support from the China government. So we apply for this China aid program, and based on this, and also then for the joint research. So then we apply for the project from the National Science Foundation and China and National Science Foundation of Sri Lanka. During this joint research cooperation, so Professor Lohan plays the most important role in it, because with the Professor Lohan's help, I contact and I had a very successful meeting with the Chairman of NSF Sri Lanka, Professor Srimani Fiolantu. Okay. So, and also for for solve the on-site the water quality monitor, we ask some company donated some water quality analysis instrument like the Halo, and okay. So then also for the security, we also CAS provides the financial support. So in the past years, so we already nearly 130 million RMB for Sri Lanka. That is very, very great support. So I'm really happy. So with this financial support, so we can do lots of things for the Sri Lanka. Okay. So this is our joint research project for this membrane foley mechanism and control of high pressure chain membrane process. And you know that the verse of groundwater with DRM and high hardness in Sri Lanka. So this is why and what, how, and who. So Professor Xiami and me are the PI from China side and Sri Lanka side. So that is our research, some results. That I just mentioned too much. For example, for the water quality analysis DRM, this is our first research DRM in groundwater in Sri Lanka. I'm really happy. So Dr. Madhu make great contribution to this work. So I'm really happy. And also we also do the drinking water quality assessment, use WQI to making water quality assessment in the CKD effect area. So that is a great appreciate the Dr. Titus make contribution to this. Okay, so this is for the technology. This is the nanofiltration technology. This is for the EDR technology. So, and now this is the pilot demonstration was started in 2017 September, and this is in 2018 September. All of these pilot tests are very successful. So, and that is my presentation. I would like to great appreciate your support and help, and I'm really happy to work together with you all. So thank you all. Thanks. That's all. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Professor Wei, for your very informative presentation, and also that the extending your good hands to Sri Lanka to facilitate as well as enhance our research in water science and technology. And we all know that the safe drinking water is the most important thing for mankind. And that safe water for all, that means for Sri Lanka, that means it's kind of a dream that every day that the water supply and drainage bodies is thinking of, or the dreaming of. So that your collaboration and your extension, your support to develop this JRDC it's a immense support for the Sri Lanka as well as water sector, and specifically that there's a person in the research area or the academia is environmental engineering. So this is the great support to all of us. And now it's a Q&A session. So I'd like to get all the views of or the questions if you have regarding JRDC and also funding and all the things. And we are going to have a very brief session because it's already 7:45. The time is, and therefore you can put your hands up, and then I can call one by one, as well as if you want, you can put in the chat area your question. And also regarding whatever the questions, Dr. Veeragoda is here to help us about the JRDC, as well as Professor Rohan Veerasurya will help us to regarding that analysis or any other sector about whatever the research we can expand. And Engineer Sarat Gaman is with us to tell you whatever the facilities or whatever the support that they in their side from the water supply and drainage board side that what they can extend. And again, that let's see that anybody who has some questions and any other question. Our Professor Shiromi Kandaran also with us now. And so you can ask your questions. So please raise hand if you have any questions. Yes. So my questions, okay, as a person of water sector, that I'd like to know that how we can get support, that if, let's say that if we have foreign collaborations, foreign research collaborations, then most of the cases we'd like to get our foreign researchers to Sri Lanka. So we know that with the less sophisticated instrument in our universities, I'd like to get, if I want to get the facility of JRDC, would you please explain us, I think Dr. Veeragoda can explain us that how JRDC expand your support to have our collaborative research with the other countries.
Yes, Professor. So I would thank you very much again. So we had very productive, useful discussions, and this particular question is very important. If we, if I little bit expand the question, starting from the general public, so they can send us the samples through courier. They can pay through the web bank, and they can get the results done within very short period of time. Our website will be facilitating this all. Whenever it's coming to individual researchers, they can either way, they can come and work in the premises. We got accommodation. You can reserve your equipment. You can get your time slot. Then you can come and use the equipment with our the in-house expertise. That means we got trained almost 10 people having PhDs and masters, got very much confident under the great support from Professor Rohan Veerasurya. So whenever it's come in the team, like, so the we would be very happy. Professor Wei will help us to find the partners from China to go and have to go for research grants. So he explained a lot of grants from China, not only China, the other countries. So we are so happy that the partnership will be extended. So that's University of Peradeniya all the way with us, Ministry of Water Supplies with us, then Chinese Academic Sciences with us, all any other partners from Sri Lanka can join us and go for research grant. To start, to kick off, Professor Maujud from University of Peradeniya has applied for APN grant worth of 100,000 plus Singapore dollars, and we won that together with RMIT Australia, Professor Jagadisan, one Sri Lankan living in Australia. So that's the way that we can facilitate. So JRDC is the hosting facility from Sri Lankan side.
Okay,
Yes,
thank you very much.
I can also, yes,
Yes,
Professor,
Professor Wei,
please.
please.
I also can maybe, so for the young talent, the young students, if they want to get for this research, maybe it's a good way for them to apply for the scholarship studying in the class, like the master and the PhD students, because you know class will every year we can support 5 million RMB for our corporation. Some money will for the joint education and research. So that is be it's a very good way for this is research, and the other way for the in the future maybe so just like our the state laboratory. So each year we also just set up some several open research program. This is for our domestic research institute. Just maybe for the JRDC in the future, if possible, JRDC can also set up the open research program for the university research institute for the young scientists. That will be a good way. And we can together. So that will be good. And also for the engineers, so our institute also provides the training program, not the short term 2 weeks and the long term 3 weeks, 3 months. So and the JRDC can comment. So that is a very good way. So as I know, so lots of students studying in class are recommended by the JRDC. So that is a very good way for the future. Yeah, that is my idea. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much, Professor Wei, for your explanation. And Dr. Sevandi, from probably agriculture engineering faculty, and so she has a question that. So, would you ask your question by yourself? Then that would be much easier. Or so, may I read your question? Right. What her problem is actually that I think Sujitra, you can answer for her question that it's in the chat area.
Yeah, Professor, actually, I have gone through the question. So
Yes.
that's a very good question to ask, and how that we are going to get the service done for the people, especially the researchers, students during the pandemic situation. So, Sevandi, I mean, you can definitely send us the samples. It could be using the courier service. So right now, the Ministry of Water Supply has set a committee headed by Professor Rohan, Dr. Atula Bandara, and Mr. Vijay Singh from Water Board, and Dr. Madhubhashini and a team, and they got finalized the rates, and our rates are the lowest in the country. For the general samples, it's lower than universities, it's lower than National Water Supply and Drainage Board. If we just compare, like ICPM is little high end. So in average in Sri Lanka, it will be about 10,000 per sample. We are charging only 4,600. That to cover up the direct cost coming for the human resources and the electricity and the standard chemical and the basic. That 4,600 is fairly low. So that's definitely, that's given for, we got almost rates for 3,300 samples by now with the chemicals, standard chemicals, and all in standard. So then definitely, Professor, so that's the way. So they can come up with the, I mean, the student can come to the facility and they can even stay here with the lowest rates given for the accommodation, and they can do the sample testing by them all. So witnessing is the very special thing that we are keeping in JRDC. It's not just getting the samples and having the results, not black box. You can come and work with our staff. You can get trained on this equipment, on the job training. That's all the facilities available. That's what I want to share with you.
Thank you very much. And I'd like to ask this question. That if do you have any thoughts to initiate some research grants? Let's say if we are going to do the research at the JRDC, or let's say China, or some other research grant, like you know that earlier NSF has some research grant to China, and Sri Lanka National Science of National Science Foundation.
Yeah.
So like that, do you plan to have any research grant to launch some research grants in future?
Yes, Professor. So that's again back very interesting. So the Ministry of Water Supply is funding for the first 5 years from the Sri Lankan side. So one burning issues like the upcoming issues, one like COVID. So we got a initial seed funding from the Ministry of Water Supply, approved by the Secretary to the Ministry, 3.7 million to the University of Sri Jayawardhanapura. So we are establishing a COVID testing facility together with the Sri Jayawardhanapura expertise, and so in another 1 week time, we'll be having the first set of samples from aquatic environment. So like one good example, again back the ministry has approved 6 research to use the facilities in JRDC for zero cost. That means the researchers, I'll be keeping available that in our website, and lots of researchers in water sector I have already invited, and more to come, more can join us. So that's about the manganese removal, hardness treating, and so on. So 6 research. So Professor Way and his team also contributing us. So then that is the Sri Lankan ministry. If you can convince the ministry that this is a high priority research, ministry is in a position to accept that. That's through JRDs. They are keeping the trust on Sri Lankan researchers. Only that what we have to do is that we have to bring up a solution. We have to bring and plant the solution in the field. So when it's given to the big research, government of Sri Lanka is very keen to go for joint research programs, applying for international grants. In addition, Professor Way and team is very committed to go for new scheme of grants, like maybe NRC this time. NSF probably will be there, but NRC joint research program. Maybe Professor Way, because he is so keen to contribute even 90% of the grant from China because of the financial situation in Sri Lanka, maybe 10% from Sri Lanka. So that's possible. So we will be thinking of calling the next round of grant scheme. And there are a lot of grants available from China for the common competition. And like as he said, so 4 grants already awarded. Professor Deputy Vice Chancellor Professor Karunaratna got one, Professor Amin got one. All they are in the participant list today. Thank you very much, everyone. So that's available for our Sri Lankan researchers.
Okay, thank you very much. So it's only I'm putting questions, so I'm trying out the questions. So anybody that he wants, you can ISL please make please available unmute to all the participants. I think, well, otherwise that if you raise hand, that ISL will unmute you all.
Professor, there was a question from one participant, the very first question. He was witnessing, he was remembering the flood happened into 1978. Yes. That's obvious. After putting up this Kotmale reservoir, this was taken well into consideration during our feasibility study time. So we got the record of Mahavira River somewhere like 7.1 meter at the Gatambe river gauge. Now we are at a high elevation. So our structure has been raised just looking into the Senate building in University of Peradeniya. So feasibility study was done together with experts from China, experts from Peradeniya, especially engineering faculty. We done for almost 1 month. Our team got very busy with all the historical data. And luckily, Victoria and especially the Kotmale reservoir there in the upstream to control the flood. So it won't be a huge impact over there. Maybe Mr. Adkamini would be one good person to add something on top of that.
Yes, I also thought to give a chance to him to talk about
in
it.
fact, you know, Watugala at that time, finally, and I was in first year, second year, and we have seen the flood level, 1970 as a student. I can remember, Professor Way, I gave the levels, I say that 2 feet below the railway bridge. I know. Yes. Then after that, we had a lot of scenarios, analysis by, you know, further engineering faculty. And in fact, I personally analyzed after 78, and this Kotmale came in 84. Then it never goes above 1,000 cubics at Polgola. So that sense, I think we are very much safe. And now we have advanced warning system also. Arupala has introduced warning system. In that case, very rare occurrence. Couple of 100 millimeters of shower within 24 period in Kotmale catchment, 700 square kilometer. Then there is a possibility. It's a possibility. So I can remember, Dr. Veerapal and all, they have located the instruments and other things also, considering all that.
Yeah. So I agree, Dr. Veerapal and Mr. Sarakamini. So at that moment, so this is the flooding is the most concern issue for this the JRDC. So so we have lots of Sri Lanka side provides the data for the flooding. So we this is for this building is lift roughly 3 meters. I maybe remember. So we check the blue line. So and also in 2016, in the rain season, wet season. So we also ask Dr. Veerapal to provide our pictures, the flooding. So we check it very, very carefully. So I understand this is a concern. So we believe that is no problem. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much. Professor Rohan Veerasurya, sir. Now, I'd like to ask you that if we have to do the sample preparation, for many analysis, we have to do a specific sample preparation. So if our students send some sample, JRDC doing the sample preparation, no, are you going to give some facility to us, let's say our researchers, to come there and do the sample preparation?
I think with the permission of Dr. Vera, both options are possible. I think both options are possible. It depends on the nature of the samples. In the case of water, there won't be any problem. But as I said, the other areas we are not ready yet to go. But we are planning for that. But the water and related things, we do have the facility for the preparation of the samples, and everything is possible there. Because JRDC is always inviting the scientists to work. That is why the lowest cost. So, because one part of our objective is to train the Sri Lankans also, because we mostly encourage, because if the students themselves can work with the JRDC experts, that is much, it is a win-win situation for the country.
Okay, thank you very much. That's a wonderful part of this JRDC. So our researchers, that they can go there and do the work and they can get their hands-on experience. So for me, actually thinking of this JRDC is a kind of a really marvelous and the research facility, what we really lacked of. Now we are with it. And so any other comments or any other questions from our audience? I hope that you got a really good view of that, why the water is important, and also that for testing for better life, because without testing, we don't know even that whether our water samples are with what and what not. And in future, that we can't say all the water coming from our pipelines to our home, that it's safe, that therefore that many things we have to consider. And also that the purification and also that the wastewater treatment and all things are coming under the water technology, as well as in the JRDC is available for the foods and all food science, as well as other research to carry out the other research experiments. And so you have heard many things of research at an inspiring environment, as well as that extend JRDC facilities beyond water environment. So if you don't have any other questions, and the researchers who gathered here or the engineers who gathered here, then now you know that the facilities are there and the research grants are there. And if you have your students that you can send through the research grant to the China collaborative universities, and the website is open now. And from that you can get the information, the correct information, and also whatever the things, if you want, you can clarify through that our director, Dr. Sujitra Veragoda. And with that information, I hope that we can come to the end of our session. And once again, as a moderator of this session, thanking to JRDC and our Dr. Sujitra Veragoda and Professor Bay and Professor Rohan Viusure and our eminent engineer Sarath Gamini, that I'd like to hand over the session to the vote of thanks. Vote of thanks is delivered by Dr. Iresha Attanayaka, who is the president of Section C, Engineers, Architecture and Survey of Sri Lanka Association for the Advancement of Science. Dr. Iresha, that the forum is over to you. Thank you very much and have a good evening. Please unmute Dr. Iresha Attanayaka, please. ISL, please unmute Dr. Iresha Attanayaka. I'm not sure. She was muted. Engineer, ISL, please. Oh, otherwise, I'm not sure that I can do it.
Yeah, no, it's okay.
Good. Iresha, over to you.
Yes,
for the
yeah. Thank you, President Bantani. And on behalf of the organizing committee, I would like to thank all the panelists today. That is Professor Rohan Veerasurya, Research Professor, National Institute of Fundamental Studies, and Professor Wei, Professor, Research Center for Eco-Environmental Studies, Chinese Academy of Sciences, and Engineer Dr. S.K. Veragoda, Director, JRDC, and Engineer Sarath Gamini, Chief Engineer, Candy North, Partha Dumbara, Integrated Water Supply Project. And also, on behalf of the organizing committee, I would like to thank ISL President, Mr. K.U. Dharmapala, and Chairperson of the Water Forum Institute of Sri Lanka, Engineer Bhadra Kamaladasa, and SLAS General President, Professor Sumedha Jayanthi, and Chairperson GRC, Professor Chamari Hettiarachchi, and Sri Lanka Association for the Advancement of Science, Committee Section C, that is SLAS Section C, all the members who helped us in various ways. And also I would like to extend my thanking note to Mr. Shamila Priyantha, Publicity Manager IESL and IT Division of IESL, Dr. Vasana Gunawardana and Dr. Madhubashini Makehemwala of Joint Research Demonstration Center, that is again JRDC, and then Professor Shiromi Karunaratne and Professor Banguni Atpattu for moderating the session, and all our colleagues who helped us in various ways in SLAS Section C and GRC. Last but not least, all the participants. The session wouldn't be this much successful without you. Thank you very much for your participation. And I would like to wind up the session here. Thank you very much once again, and have a pleasant day. Thank you.
Thank you very much.